You won't believe what just happened. In a single conversation that was supposed to clear his name, Tommaso completely destroyed himself. He thought he was being smart. He thought he was in control. But in one moment of overconfidence, he spilled secrets so dark, so damning, that investigators went from confused, completely stunned. What started as a casual interview has now become the smoking gun in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance case. And the twists that are coming will leave you speechless. Sources close to the investigation are saying Tommaso didn't just slip up, he handed them the keys to his own downfall. Details he should have never known. Timelines that don't add up. Knowledge that only the killer could possibly have. The worst part? He had no idea the microphone was still listening, and that every word would come back to haunt him in the most explosive way possible. Friends, this is not just another scandal. This is the moment the entire Nancy Guthrie case cracked wide open. But trust me, what he said in that conversation is only the beginning. The real bombshells are still coming, and they are far more twisted than anyone expected. Stick around, because what investigators found after viewing that tape will change everything you thought you knew about this case. A glamorous, wealthy, and mysterious woman named Nancy Guthrie vanishes without a trace, leaving behind a trail of secrets, money, and powerful connections. Nancy wasn't just any ordinary woman. She was the heart of a powerful family empire, known for her sharp mind, stunning beauty, and a life filled with luxury that most people only dream about. But behind the perfect smiles and expensive parties, something was terribly wrong. Enter Tommaso, the charming, smooth-talking man who was once seen as Nancy's closest confidant, maybe even more. For years, the two of them were inseparable. Insiders say Tommaso had slowly become the man who handled Nancy's finances, her properties, and even her most private decisions. Everyone thought they had the perfect bond, but those closest to them knew the truth. There was tension, jealousy, and a dangerous power struggle brewing beneath the surface. Nancy had started asking difficult questions in the months before her disappearance. She was changing her will, updating life insurance policies, and secretly reaching out to authorities. Friends say she had grown suspicious of Tommaso's sudden control over her money and properties. There were whispers of huge cash withdrawals, strange property transfers, and heated arguments behind closed doors that left Nancy in tears. Tommaso, on the other hand, was fighting his own battles. Sources claim he was drowning in debt and desperately needed Nancy's fortune to stay afloat. He had allegedly convinced her to sign documents that gave him more power over her assets. But Nancy was waking up to the manipulation. She had reportedly told a close friend, "If something happens to me, don't trust him." The drama didn't stop there. Nancy's family had always been divided. Some members supported Tommaso, calling him a loyal friend who was only trying to help. Others saw him as a dangerous opportunist who had sunk his claws too deep into Nancy's life. The tension between them had been building for months, like a ticking time bomb ready to explode. Then came that fateful conversation. Tommaso agreed to sit down with investigators. Thinking he could talk his way out of suspicion, he walked in confident, maybe even arrogant, believing he had covered all his tracks. But in that one recorded interview, everything changed forever. What he thought was a simple chat to clear his name turned into the biggest mistake of his life. Leaked reports now suggest that even before this conversation, Tommaso had been trying to control the narrative. He was allegedly feeding stories to media, playing the role of the worried friend while secretly panicking behind the scenes. Social media was already buzzing with theories, some calling Nancy a runaway, others whispering about foul play involving the people closest to her. The public had no idea how deep this betrayal ran. Tommaso wasn't just a friend. According to shocking insider claims, he may have been the one person who knew exactly where Nancy was, because he was involved in her disappearance from the very beginning. As the investigation quietly built its case, uncovering strange GPS movements, deleted messages, and disturbing evidence on a private property, no one expected that Tommaso's own mouth would become the biggest weapon against him. This wasn't just a simple missing person case anymore. This was a news of greed, betrayal, heartbreak, and cold-blooded calculation. And that one conversation, it was about to blow the entire thing wide open in the most shocking way imaginable. But what exactly did Tommaso say that was so damaging? How did he expose himself without even realizing it? The answers are darker than you can imagine, and we're just getting started. Picture this: a dimly lit room, two investigators sitting across from Tommaso, who walks in with that signature confident smirk, dressed sharply like he has nothing to hide. He thinks he's smarter than everyone in the room. He believes he can talk circles around them. But what Tommaso didn't know was that this single conversation would become his complete and total downfall. At first, he played the part perfectly. The devastated friend, the worried associate, the man desperate to help find Nancy. He spoke about how much he cared for her, how heartbroken he was by her disappearance. But then, he started saying things that made the investigators' blood run cold. He casually mentioned specific details about the backyard of Nancy's private property, details that had never been released to the public. He described the exact timing of her last known movements, things only someone who was there that night could possibly know. He even slipped up about a signed document and large cash transfers that investigators hadn't even asked him about yet. One investigator later told insiders, "We were stunned. He was giving us information we hadn't shared with anyone. It was like he was confessing without realizing it." The room temperature dropped as Tommaso kept talking. His voice started shaking. Sweat appeared on his forehead. He tried to backtrack, but it was too late. The more he tried to explain himself, the deeper he dug the hole. He contradicted his own timeline. He lied about where his phone was that night. He claimed he was miles away when GPS data would later prove he was right there, at the exact location where Nancy was last seen. The betrayal felt personal. Nancy had trusted this man with her life, her money, and her secrets. And now it looked like he had used all of that trust to destroy her. But here's where it gets even worse. As investigators reviewed the tape later that night, they discovered something chilling. Tommaso didn't just have guilty knowledge. He described a sequence of events in perfect order before the forensic team had even pieced it together themselves. He knew about deleted messages. He knew about the exact location of certain items that were never reported. It was as if he had been there, directing everything. Social media exploded the moment leaked clips from the interview started circulating in private groups. One Twitter thread went viral overnight with a caption, "Tommaso just accidentally confessed live on recording Nancy Guthrie case. Fans and true crime followers lost their minds." Comments flooded in. "He's done. This is the killer speaking." The way he smiled while lying, pure evil. Nancy trusted the wrong person and paid with her life. The first major twist came when investigators cross-checked his words with recovered deleted messages. In those texts, Tommaso had allegedly written to an unknown number. "She's asking too many questions. We need to handle this tonight." The timestamp matched the exact window. He claimed he was nowhere near the property. The investigators couldn't believe what they were seeing. The man who was supposed to be helping find Nancy had just handed them the blueprint of how she disappeared. But the most shocking part? Tommaso thought that conversation was off the record. He had no idea every single word was being analyzed by a team of forensic linguists. He had no idea they would later compare his statements to GPS data, financial records, and the horrifying discovery waiting in the backyard. This wasn't just a mistake. This was a masterclass in self-sabotage. The charming man who once controlled the narrative had just handed the entire case to the police on a silver platter. And just when you think it couldn't get any darker, a second bombshell was about to drop that would change the entire direction of the investigation forever. The storm was just beginning. Within hours of that explosive conversation, the investigation went into overdrive. Forensic teams rushed back to Nancy's private property with fresh warrants. What they uncovered next left even seasoned detectives speechless. Buried in the backyard, hidden under fresh landscaping, investigators found human remains. The size, location, and preliminary findings strongly pointed toward Nancy Guthrie, the same backyard Tommaso had casually referenced in his interview, the one he claimed he hadn't visited in months. The betrayal cut deeper than anyone imagined. The man Nancy once called her most trusted friend was now at the center of a nightmare. Leaked photos from the scene, quickly spreading across private investigator forums, showed fresh soil disturbance exactly where Tommaso had nervously mentioned some construction work during his conversation. Social media went absolutely nuclear. Hashtag Justice for Nancy started trending worldwide. Twitter threads dissected every word Tommaso had said. One viral post read, He literally described the burial site before they even dug it up. This man is finished. But the second shocking twist hit like a thunderbolt. While analyzing Tommaso's phone data, investigators discovered he had made a frantic call to an unknown burner number just 47 minutes after Nancy's last known activity. In that call, which was partially recovered, he allegedly whispered, "It's done," but she fought back harder than expected. The public reaction was pure chaos. Celebrities who once partied with both Nancy and Tommaso started distancing themselves. One A-list star posted a cryptic message: "Some people smile while hiding pure evil." Fans turned on Tommaso instantly. His old posts were flooded with accusations. His carefully crafted image as a loyal friend completely collapsed overnight. Insiders are now claiming this wasn't a simple crime of passion or greed. It was cold, calculated, and months in the making. Tommaso had allegedly been slowly isolating Nancy from her real family and friends, gaining total control over her empire before making his final move. The escalation was terrifying. Every new revelation made that one conversation more damning. Tommaso didn't just expose himself. He painted a roadmap straight to his own guilt. But even this wasn't the end. A final, devastating twist was about to emerge that would shake the entire case to its core and leave everyone wondering who else was involved. As soon as the first leaks from Tommaso's disastrous conversation hit the streets, social media turned into a battlefield. Nancy Guthrie case and Tommaso exposed began trending at lightning speed, racking up millions of views within hours. True crime fan accounts were dissecting every second of the leaked audio, zooming in on Tommaso's shaky voice and nervous pauses. The reactions were brutal and divided. One side was furious and heartbroken. Nancy trusted him with everything, and he betrayed her in the worst way possible. Wrote one viral tweet that got over 400K likes. Fans posted emotional tributes to Nancy, sharing old photos and videos, calling her the glamorous queen who was silenced by greed. Hashtags like #JusticeForNancy and #ArrestTommaso flooded timelines. On the other side, a smaller but loud group of Tommaso supporters claimed it was all a witch hunt and that the evidence was being twisted. But their defenses were quickly drowned out by wave after wave of outrage. Celebrities started weighing in too. A famous reality TV star who was once close to Nancy wrote, "I always felt something was off with him. My heart is shattered for Nancy and her real family." Another A-list actor simply posted a black square with the caption, "Betrayal at the highest level." News channels went into full frenzy mode. Every major network was running special reports titled "The Conversation That Cracked the Case" and "Tommaso's Shocking Slip UPS." Talk show hosts were screaming on air, "This is no longer a disappearance. This is looking like cold-blooded murder." Inside the industry, powerful people who once partied with Tommaso began deleting old photos and cutting ties. Insiders revealed that several big investors and business partners had already distanced themselves, terrified of being linked to the scandal. The emotional toll was visible everywhere. Nancy's friends broke down in tearful interviews, saying they begged her to be careful around Tommaso. One close friend sobbed on camera. "She told me she was scared. I wish I had done more." The public wasn't just angry, they were obsessed. This case had everything: money, power, betrayal, and now possible murder. And at the center of it all was that one conversation where Tommaso exposed way more than he ever intended. But just when people thought they had heard the worst. But hold on, because just when you thought this case couldn't get any more shocking, the biggest bombshell of all dropped. According to explosive new leaks from inside the investigation, Tommaso wasn't acting alone. Sources close to the case have now revealed that during that same fateful conversation, Tommaso accidentally mentioned a second person, someone whose name had never come up before. He quickly tried to cover it up, but investigators caught it. They now believe there was a co-conspirator, possibly a woman very close to Nancy, who helped plan the entire thing. The twist? This mystery person may have been the one who received the large cash deposits Tommaso was desperately trying to hide. Even more chilling, new DNA evidence from the scene is reportedly showing traces that don't match Nancy, suggesting someone else was there that night, helping Tommaso finish the job. The public is losing their minds. Theories are exploding across the internet. Was it a jealous rival? A secret lover? A family member who stood to gain millions. No one knows for sure, but one thing is crystal clear. This conspiracy runs much deeper than anyone imagined. Tommaso's carefully built wall is crumbling faster than anyone expected. Insiders say he is now panicking behind the scenes, making frantic calls and trying to contact people who have already turned against him. His lawyers are reportedly in damage control mode, but the damage may already be irreversible. This isn't just about one conversation anymore. This is about a calculated, cold-blooded plot that may involve multiple people at the highest levels of power and wealth. The Nancy Guthrie case has officially become one of the most twisted scandals in recent memory, and it's far from over. What else will that recording reveal? Who is the mystery second person? And most importantly, will they find Nancy's body and finally bring justice? The answers are coming soon, and they are going to shake the entire industry to its core. You do not want to miss what happens next. Wow! Can you even believe what we just uncovered together? If your blood is boiling right now, if you're sitting there shocked and angry about what Tommaso did to Nancy, then I need to hear from you in the comments right now. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think Tommaso acted alone, or is the mystery second person even more dangerous? Who do you suspect is involved? And most importantly, do you believe justice will finally be served for Nancy? Smash that like button if you want Tommaso behind bars immediately. Turn on notifications and subscribe because this news is nowhere near finished. The DNA results, the second suspect, and possible new arrests are all coming. And I'll be bringing you the latest updates the second they drop. Share this video with everyone who loves true crime, drama, and justice because the world needs to know what really happened to Nancy Guthrie. This case proves one terrifying truth. Sometimes the person you trust the most is the one who will destroy you. Nancy deserved better. She deserved justice. And we're not stopping until the full truth comes out. So tell me in the comments, what shocked you the most in this entire news? Was it Tommaso's guilty knowledge, the backyard discovery, or the possibility of a second killer still walking free? I'm reading every single comment. Let's discuss this. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned because the next update on the Nancy Guthrie case is going to be even more explosive. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, the truth always comes out.